What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Beats and Brews. I'm Aaron Roy, and I'm here with my guest, Chaz Chambers. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. My interest in drums started when I was around 5 years old. One of my best friends growing up, his dad played drums. So we'd go over to his house and he'd play, and I was just fascinated by, oh man, these drums sounds great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when I first started to learn. I think I learned a couple, maybe the Forbidden Beat, you know. I learned that if you actually play that, like, there's
Much
way more tasteful ways to play that, not the annoying way, but I think that was one of the first few grooves that I learned. When I was about 7 or 8, I got my first snare drum. I was around
Nice.
3rd grade or so. I just started being able to play a little bit and got my music teacher at school to show me a few things. Around that same time, I got a kit too. I was surprised one day. I don't know if it was for Christmas or what it was, but I got a kit that was called Panther.
Nice.
That was the name of them. I don't know if they still exist. I don't know who they are. I don't know anything else about them, but it was called Panther. When I was 11, I got another kit. I got a Pearl kit with 2 bass drums. I was like, that was my big deal.
Oh, wow.
2 bass drums. And learned on that, learned double bass, you know, on that. And then I got another kit when I was like 17. So sometime between age 11 and 17, I progressed from playing metal music to getting more interested in like funk and jazz.
Mm-hmm.
It was a big transition for me when I was 21 and went to music school. I had been introduced to a lot of things that I should have known what they were. I should have known who Max Roach was, and I'm probably giving away some stuff that kind of stupid. Like I didn't know who Bernard Purdie was. Like, and those are like iconic groove drummers that now have influenced me. And now they're called Atlanta Institute of Music and Media because they've added a lot of film programs and other media aspects to the school as well. But great school. It was one of the best things I've ever done in my life.
I bet.
I learned how to read music. I learned many different styles. So they kept some of the double bass and a lot more rock stuff, but they added on with fusion and like Latin grooves and funk and jazz, and the performance classes were very, very like hands-on. Like you get to play all these famous tunes that I'd never gotten to play, you know. So yeah, it was a great school, great time.
So we're both endorsed by Vic Firth. I play the X8Ds. What do you gravitate towards?
5As.
I can kind of see that because you play all these different styles of music, and it's a very versatile stick.
Because I found that 5As were like, I could play funk, I could play rock, I could play jazz, I could play pop, whatever, I could play Latin. I mean, it's a good medium-sized stick that just works for everything.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And that's just different for everybody. You know, I'm glad we're both with Vic Firth because we both have good taste. But,
Yeah.
you know, the best sticks in the world.
I would agree with that.
graduated, I put an ad on Craigslist, drummer available,
Of course.
music school. You know, I don't know where to go to gigs. I'm going to go to Craigslist, you know. And so I go to Craigslist, and someone gets in touch with me from Florida, and it's like, hey, I have connections with cruise ships. So I've actually been playing on cruise ships for years, but it was a lounge band. All I needed was a drummer to go to the next contract. And so I started learning all their tunes, which my form of learning a bunch of tunes was to chart them out.
Impressive.
I did that with about 60 tunes. It was kind of overkill, and I spent a lot of time on it. You know, every morning waking up, grabbing some coffee.
A lot of coffee.
A lot of coffee, yeah, like pots of coffee. Through playing on the ships and getting to know the musical director, I moved from a lounge band to a show band musician. Transitioned to the show band, which got me into the production shows, Vegas-style production shows, which had a lot of different styles, anything from big band to like New Orleans style to we even had like a Motown show and an 80s rock show. So
wow.
All that diversification that we were just talking about in music school,
it really paid off.
It prepared me for all those different situations on cruise ships.
So right now you're on tour with Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus. That's your big gig right now. How did you land that gig? That's pretty high profile.
Well, that's a good question. I guess it kind of goes back to what most people tell you is who you know or recommendations. And this one was because of the cruise ship gigs. Went to this ship, made a good impression, I guess, and the trumpet player from that ship ended up getting the Ringling Brothers gig. They needed a drummer. There was a situation happened and drum position available, you know. And he hit me up. He said, "Hey man, how do you feel about a full-time drumming position with Ringling Brothers?" And I said, "Wow, it sounds cool."
Tell us about your typical day working for the circus.
If it's just a one-show day, chill out for the day, make sure I'm relaxed, maybe do other things, internet stuff, send emails, whatever. 3-show days are the days that you gotta eat the right amount of food, you gotta drink enough coffee to wake up in the morning, but not so much where you have to go to the bathroom during the first show.
Yeah.
You do have to think about that. Almost every Saturday is a 3-show day. And it's 11 a.m., 3 p.m., and 7 p.m. So, and they're 2-hour shows, so it's literally 6 hours of drumming. I don't stop. I might have a 4-bar tacit, but other than that, it's just crazy rock pop drumming, circus drumming for 6 hours in a day, you know.
Earlier in the day when we were hanging out, you were talking about people would be doing tricks and you'd be catching the tricks and accentuating what they're doing. That's a whole nother level of performing that isn't on a sheet of paper.
It's true. There's no way to write that down. That's been one of the hardest parts of being a circus drummer. It's always hard to play your music, and then because the show is never the same every time, you don't know where that trick is going to happen. Yeah. So you have to be able to stop the groove or stop what you're doing, play the trick, but keep the groove, keep the feel. You know, you're playing to a click, so the band keeps the time, you keep the time with the band, and you catch the trick in time. So, you know, I try to stick to the downbeats and upbeats, but you know, the ones and the ands. But some drummers I've heard hit on the E's and the U's. You know, if it's on the E of 3, it's, you know, they hit it and they
just
keep
throw a
it in the
drumstick.
groove, you know,
just make
yeah,
it
throw the drumstick and like hit the microphone or something. I don't know, it makes sense. But I have 2 EPs that I've released. They're on iTunes and Spotify and all those other little online distributions. But those are geared towards film scores. Those are geared towards TV music and stuff. So I've always aspired not only to play drums, but to produce artists from a drummer perspective.
So I know that you offer online and Skype drum lessons. How could somebody go about contacting you if they wanted to ask you a question or sign up for drum lessons?
Best way would be chazchambers.com. And on the top of the page is go to the contact section. On the flip side of that, I've started a website. It's in the building process. It's called drumlessons.com, but with a Z. So drumlessons, whatever you want to say. And that's a free site. That's a free blog site that basically gives drum information, have interviews with drummers about drum tips, about professional things. And I started this website basically to kind of give back to the drum community. If you want to go to this blog site and check out things, but then if someone wants to get a little deeper into things, then we can study privately via Skype or FaceTime. As soon as it's over, May 7th, I basically am driving straight to Nashville. My kid's going there, everything's going there. I have a place set up to live. I plan on getting started on studio drumming, auditions, stuff like that. Nashville has always been known, as we know, as a songwriting city.
Yep.
I love to write songs. I love to play drums, and I think that all kind of connects there. It's everything that I want to do for the rest of my life is in that city.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Beats and Brews. I'm Aaron Roy. This is Chaz Chambers. Thanks again for joining me, buddy. Really appreciate it. See you next episode.